Rhodri.
Is there anything that Lionel Messi is better than you at?
It's opinions. I respect your opinions. Maybe in your opinion Messi is better than me, but in my mind I'm better than him.
I do it again.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go add up. Like scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just hit the money and go stack up. Only buy car cards and get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up,
To Ace Podcast Nation, the home of the Andy Campbell Show. I was going to say then. Rhodri Giggs on Football, Series 1, episode number 15. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, Twitter. And if you prefer your podcast in audio form, then please do check us out on the Sports Social Podcast Network, the UK's first dedicated all sports podcast network. You can find this show and all the other shows produced by Ace Podcast Nation there. And obviously give us a subscribe at YouTube. That really helps us out. Follow on social media, all that good stuff. But just as we wait for the latecomers and the stragglers, a little bit of a Super 6 update, as it were. So last weekend, we haven't had any midweek ones. Last weekend, real well done to Will's dad, who topped the round this week on 17 points. Michael Shepherd, Claire Watson, not far behind on the 13. Andy Campbell missed his predictions altogether, dropped 10 places as a result. No change, but Darren Crisp and Mark Hector have moved into the payout places. Willie Boland and Gavin Gordon top the celebrity table with 11 points, whilst myself and Rhodri scored the same again, which means I'm still 20 points ahead going into the next round. But as there was no change in the midweek, I thought I'd give a little update on the celebrity players. Propping up the pile is Rhodri Giggs in 79th place, 124 points. Just ahead of him is Lee Jarman in 78th place on 128 points.
I told you about this before. We need to start this by. He missed 5 weeks. Not he's propping it up. You're missing. Okay,
you're right. Rhodri Giggs has missed
bad information.
Missed 5 weeks. It looks like, do you know what it is? It's like I work for CNN or something, isn't it? And I'm only telling half the story. So
yeah, Anderson Cooper, come on.
Yeah, that's it. I know, right. Rhodri missed like 5, maybe even 6 games at the start of the season. So he's playing catch up. So the fact that he's only 4 points behind Lee Jarman is incredible. Then we've got a few close battles though. Got Andy Legg on it's 75th place on 140. Just above him is me on 144. Willie Boland then 1 point ahead of me. 145 in 72nd. Gavin Gordon's in 58th. Andy Campbell 56th. Jeff Stelling in 21st. And then our leading celebrity is Cardiff City legend Cohen Griffith, who's in 17th place overall on 209 points. So the next game is Saturday. So make sure you get your predictions in. It's 3 o'clock start.
Well, Saturday, I'm just looking there because of the games being called off. There's only 2.
Yeah, they must. I would have thought they'll update it or something, surely, wouldn't they? You think?
I think people have already done it, haven't they?
I don't know. Got 2 games. Come on, that could set the cat amongst the pigeons for a few people, couldn't it?
And 2 games at Aston Villa, Burnley, and Blackburn, Birmingham.
Ah, it's easy. That's a Blackburn win. And what was the other one? Villa and who?
Villa, Burnley.
Ooh, I'll go with Villa double. Easy. So good. Right. How joining me as ever, ex Salford City winger and manager, Mr. Rhodri Giggs. How are you, mate? You good? Feeling better?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You? Yeah, a lot better, thanks.
Yeah. Good. That's the main thing, mate. Oh, what's going on with my thing? I think I've frozen again. Oh, stupid thing. Can you still hear me, mate? Stupid thing.
Yeah.
My computer's. Talk quickly. There you are, my end. Right. So you should be able to hear me on my phone now, mate. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Right. Yeah, sorry about that. Apologies. As I say, like my computer's been fine all week. I've done shows Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then just as I logged onto it, just then it was like really just slow. So I don't know what's going on with it. It doesn't like you at the moment for some reason. But yeah, so yeah, but you're feeling better, mate. That's the main thing, obviously. So last week, in your absence, mate, last week I just did like a shorter show on my own and talked about a few things. One of the things I talked about was Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. Particularly, I talked about like Arsenal's defense, Aubameyang just looking like he'd rather be anywhere else, and then literally a few days later, stripped of the captaincy. And then they went and played West Ham and did really, really well. I still think their defense is a massive issue, but they looked a different team against West Ham. Do you think that shows he's shown a bit of backbone there, mate, by stripping him of captaincy? Because Aubameyang's a big name, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, but he's still. I've said this before. Your captain's your role model and your leader, and you lead by example. And there's different way a captain that can lead by example. There could be the shouter, there could be the lead by example on the pitch. There could be lots of ways, but God knows why he would pick that kind of character to be captain. But he picked him, and he's let him down massively. So yeah, and he's done the right thing by doing what he's done, because you can't be doing what he's doing. Like I said, the captain should be leading by example, and he's doing going the other way, doing what he wants, turning up when he wants. It's just unacceptable. Personally, you work for about an hour and a half a day. Why? Yeah. There's no reason for you to be late. So yeah, it's unacceptable that it is where it is. It'll happen again. I'm sure it'll keep on happening, but you've got to have discipline. And yeah, to answer your question, I think he has shown a bit of backbone. But Arsenal is a club steeped in tradition, and the captain's a figurehead of that tradition. And if he's doing what he wants, then it just throws everything up in the air. So you've got to have discipline. He's done the right thing.
It's an interesting one for me, mate, because like Aubameyang has got form for being a bit of I don't want to say a troublemaker, because I don't think that's necessarily fair, but he's got form for being problematic when things aren't going his way. When he wanted to move out of Dortmund a couple of times, he sort of kicked up a fuss. And like my issue with it is when players have got a bit of form for that attitude, as soon as they show any sort of dissent or problems that could affect the squad, you have got to stamp it out early doors. You can't let them keep doing it. And if I had to criticise Solskjaer for anything, one of the things I think would be, apart like off the pitch, I think was maybe he let certain players he never really called out that type of behaviour from one or two. And what really interests me this week was Ralph Rangnick's comments about people potentially wanting to leave the club or out of contract. And he basically said, Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. If you don't want to play for us, we're not going to beg you. And when I heard that statement, I paraphrase it a little, but when I heard that statement, mate, I just automatically thought of Fergie, because that was the attitude he had with the likes of Jaap Stam, Van Nistelrooy, Keane, all these names over the years who, if he felt they were getting a bit too big for their boots, they were out of there. And maybe United have lost that a little bit. So I think, first and foremost, really well done to Mikel Arteta. You've got to give him credit for that. He's a young manager in the game. And it would have been, in some ways, easier for him to try and placate Aubameyang and try and sort of talk him round and get him playing the way that we all know he can play. But instead of that, he said, no, you're showing a bad attitude. You're not captain no more. I think that shows tremendous backbone attitude of Seth. What did you make of Rangnick's comments? Clearly directed towards Raiola and some of the comments he'd made about Pogba, Martial. There'd been a bit of rumours of him going. Like, is that what you're looking at? Do you think that was good? Do you think it was bad?
No, that's what you want to hear from your manager. You want to be. If there's clear dialogue, you want to be through the right channels, not through the media or the way these agents operate. So, yeah, he was spot on what he says, and it's just a warning shot, I suppose, throughout that. And you probably see, Pogba leave, Martial leave, all the lazy ones that don't want to run about and don't want to work and want to do their own thing. So, yeah, there was reports that Martial might be going to Atletico Madrid. Well, how's that going to work? Because Simeone is, he's like Conte a bit on speed. So, yeah, he wouldn't last 2 seconds there. So yeah, he's a good player, but like I say, he just didn't work out. He's just lazy. I can't hear you, mate.
Sorry, I muted myself. Martial's first goal against Liverpool came up on my Facebook feed.
Sound like it's just a weird sound. Just can't hear you.
Right, is that better? Any better, mate?
No, same.
Right.
To see you all right. It's just the sound. It's a bit weird.
Is that any better, mate?
No.
Strange. Right. I'll have a play with that. Tell me a little bit about West Ham capitulating. They seem to have been having a bit of a rocky spell at the moment. Oh, this is the internet is going bananas. I apologise to people, everywhere. Not quite sure what's going on with
Go on, mate. Can you hear now?
the internet. Right, there we go. We'll just I'll stick with my phone. I won't even bother trying to sort my computer out for now. So yeah, I just was interested, mate, in what you make of West Ham at the moment, because they kind of have gone off a cliff in recent weeks. I think it was Leslie who said in the live chat a couple of weeks back that he felt like that was going to happen. And since he said that, West Ham have been not as good. Obviously, Moyes was having a lot of plaudits. What have you made of their recent performances?
Well, they're always going to have a dip. They've had a good run, and they're coming up against some good teams. They're not getting beat by bad teams or teams at the lower end of the league. Arsenal are up there. Who else did they play? Of recent, they beat Chelsea. They beat some good teams. So, yeah, it's you just got to keep plugging away and down to the next game and try and turn it around. But yeah, they've had a good run at the minute. But yeah, teams are going to be up. No, if they're not up for it today, the West Ham are going to turn them over because they've been playing well this year, the West Ham. So yeah, you're always going to get a little dip, especially from a team like West Ham as well. Like I say, they've done really well this year. So
yeah, they've been impressive, haven't they?
Who did they get beat off in the week? Was it Arsenal?
Arsenal in midweek, yeah.
So it was Arsenal played really well as well. So it wasn't what score did it end up 2-0?
2-0 Arsenal, it was. Yeah,
it was a good game actually, and then Arsenal broke away and scored the second goal, and it was really game over. But Arsenal played well, but West Ham didn't really play badly. It's just Arsenal were the better team on the night.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And I think like West Ham's problem is probably that they haven't got that big a squad. They'll be looking to bring in a few players now in January to try and strengthen their run towards the end of the season. But also they want to make sure they keep hold of people like Mikel, Antonio, and a few others, which is obviously vital for them. Who impressed you? Like, I feel like we'll talk about the Champions League Draw Farce, but I want to talk generally about the Champions League group stage. Obviously, you had Liverpool, who were in this group of death, and then won all 6 games. Looked, they couldn't have done any more. Have they peaked too soon for you, or do you think they're just those top Premier League teams are just that much better than the bigger teams in Europe at the moment?
Well, City and Liverpool are probably in a league of their own, and Chelsea are trying to hang on to the coattails. So, it's just so difficult at the minute, and I just think that them teams that I just mentioned are a streak above anyone, and even City and Liverpool are way ahead than Chelsea, in my opinion. I think Chelsea will do well to keep up with them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just thought, I wondered whether Liverpool peaked a little bit too soon, just in terms of.
I was talking about this today, mate. That you want to be peaking around or getting into it around February, March, but obviously you want to be picking up results, but you don't want to be on fire now. Or City, even though they won 7-0, they weren't. They
look like they've got a gear to go up. City, do they? City look like they've got another gear.
So I just think City and Liverpool, they're just on different levels at the minute, and on that level they were, 2 years ago when they were both fighting out. And like I say, Chelsea are fighting to keep on the coattails, but it's going to be difficult because hopefully they don't pick up any injuries, because I think City will be able to handle injuries much more than Liverpool would. It was key areas. Plus, you've got, we talked about this, the African nations. If that goes ahead, Mane, Salah, big misses. So, it's
that could hurt Liverpool in the Champions League.
You never want to be peaking January or now. No. You want to be peaking February, March, and then see out the season.
Yeah, I think one thing Liverpool have done well in the transfer market in the last probably 12 months or so, they brought in Jota to play with Firmino, during that, when those players go to the African nations, because that's going to cause Liverpool a massive issue, particularly in the Champions League, because they're such big players. So it's going to be, they had to bring in someone who could play to the level, and I think he's shown that he can play at that level as well. Since he's been at Liverpool. But you look at them, the players that they're going to miss, it's going to be such a big miss for them.
More going on to City as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Going on to the Champions League draw, mate. I was at Eat Sleep Media on Monday when they did the draw, so I wasn't familiar with it, actually, what had happened when I spoke about it Monday. But for something which is live to millions, the amount of money that's involved, the organisations that are involved, to have a farcical draw like that was, it's nothing short of a farce, mate. Honestly, it's embarrassing. That's the sort of thing that you would expect to happen at not even like non-league level, like you're talking amateur level. You cannot have those sort of basic schoolboy errors in the biggest competition in the world, biggest club competition in the world. It's shocking, mate.
Yeah, it's not good. I was listening to Pep Guardiola and saying, these things happen, but I can't never remember something like this happening on such a big stage, like you said. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult, to do these things. You just need organisation. I wonder if they usually do like a little run through. Did they do the run through? Did they go over it, or they just thought, we'll be okay? And then when it comes, and then just a little tiny mistake, and it all
It's not
puts it
rocket
all out.
science, though, mate, is it? Do
Pardon?
you know what I mean? It's not rocket six.
No, it's not. And it's not. Someone should have known that Villarreal and Man United couldn't play each other. So,
What do you make of Real Madrid's point? Because Real Madrid are not happy because they were initially drawn against who was it? I forget who it was now.
I think that is me. I think that's karma because these clubs have been
of course
been kind to these clubs over the years. So it's a bit of karma for them.
Well, Madrid drew against Benfica, and obviously they weren't affected by the error. And then when they did the redraw, they were drawn against PSG. But I mean, like you say, Madrid and a few other clubs have had such shady practices over the years. Maybe it is like a little bit of.
They'll see the good old mate again, Messi. So it's all good. It's all good for him.
Yeah. No, I seen some big games, mate, in that draw. PSG and Madrid. Who's going to win that for you over two legs?
PSG Madrid. Ooh,
would you ever have imagined, mate, seeing Ramos and Messi lining up to play against Real Madrid together?
Yeah. It's
mad.
Strange that one, isn't it? Especially for Ramos because he's like been a stalwart there.
Yeah.
But I think PSG will be just too strong. But you never know. It's Real Madrid at the end of the day, and still got some quality players there. So it's not going to be easy for him.
No. So do you think PSG probably over two legs?
Yeah, just they're under pressure there as well, aren't they, to produce something in the Champions League. So,
and we got,
but it's definitely a banana peel for him though.
Yeah, it could go either way ultimately, couldn't it? Yeah. Like you wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. Then you got like Sporting Lisbon versus Man City. I think Man City should win that comfortably over two legs, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Then you got Red Bull Salzburg, obviously one of Rangnick's former clubs, versus Bayern. I think you're looking at Bayern there, aren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they look like they're strong again.
And then we've got Inter Milan versus Liverpool. I think. See, I saw a few people saying that's a potential banana skin for Liverpool. I think Inter Milan are not what they were 10 years ago. And to me, Liverpool could have got much worse.
We talked about this the other day as well. Them Liverpool European nights,
special.
It's very difficult to play there. Where's the first leg in that one? Do you know?
It's in the Inter, so the second leg is
right. So yeah, second leg. So they get a good result. It's all even a draw. It's all over. So yeah, going back to Anfield they've got to at least go back to Anfield Inter with a lead, or they've got no chance.
So I saw Gavin was in the chat. I can't access the chat at the moment. I'm trying to bring it up on my tablet, but I saw Gavin was in the chat earlier, who's obviously a Liverpool fan. I'd be interested in what Gavin thinks, if he thinks the African nations will affect Liverpool's running, like in the Premier League and the Champions League. So let us know, Gavin.
How would it not when you lose them players?
Yeah, two of the.
But looking at the fixtures, it depends when it is. They don't miss a massive amount. They miss an FA Cup game, So yeah, they don't miss a massive amount of games. So
do they miss any Champions League games?
No.
See, that's a massive.
Start back up now till late February, is it?
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I should know. I got the draw in front of me. Yeah. So yeah, maybe they'll be all right. It'd be interesting. Chelsea got Lille. That's about as good as you can get, isn't it?
Yeah, and they got them twice, didn't they?
Yeah. Destiny. Destiny, mate. Yeah, Chelsea should win that over 2 legs. Villarreal versus Juventus, I thought was an interesting tie. Both teams on their day, capable of turning in a very good, performance.
When does it start? The African nations,
I think it's the first week of January, isn't it? I'll have a look now. Pretty sure it's like the first week of the new year. But do you think Juventus will go
Liverpool
through?
Played Chelsea on the 2nd of January.
African Cup of Nations, yeah, but don't the players leave over like just Boxing Day or something? Sure, I read African Cup of Nations start date. But with that, do you see Juventus having any issues with who did I say? Villarreal. Look, Villarreal are capable, aren't they? But I just don't see it.
Yeah, that's one you just edge Juventus, but we've seen Villarreal that they are an okay team. Won the Europa League last year, so yeah, just that's another banana skin.
9th of January, African Cup of Nations starts. So I'm guessing this, but I would imagine those African Cup of Nations players will play the weekend of this 1st and 2nd in the Premier League, and then they'll leave that night or the day after those games.
So yeah, they'll probably miss 2 games.
So the tournament
African Cup they'll miss an FA Cup game as well, but
6th of February is the last game in the African Cup of Nations.
Yes, Leicester play Liverpool on the 10th of February, so they'll miss Brentford and Crystal Palace.
See, that's not like those are 2 winnable games, aren't they?
Liverpool's at home with Brentford and Crystal Palace away.
Yeah, they should be perfectly capable of beating those teams without Salah and Mane, really. Yeah, is it just those 2, or is there any other players?
No, just them 2. Then they've got an FA Cup game against Shrewsbury on the 9th of January, and then the 15th of January. Then the next game after that, the 23rd. I don't know why that there's 2 weeks. Maybe it's because it's another FA Cup game, 2nd round.
Yeah, might be. Just finishing off on the Champions League, mate. Atletico Madrid United, 2nd legs at Old Trafford. That's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
it's a 50-50 one. Whoever plays well on the nights for this one, if United get a good result, a 1-1 draw, or even a 2-1 loss in that bad. As long as you pick up a goal, experience tells you need to get try and pick up an away goal, and and try and keep a clean sheet at home. But yeah, it all depends. But it's a 50-50 on that. Like I say, whoever performs on the night, they've got some good players. So have United. So yeah, it'd be a good game, a good couple of games, that one.
It's going to be interesting for sure, that one. I can't decide who I think, because I've been pretty impressed with how Rangnick set up his team and started. I think the formation he's playing suits the players he's got. So I'm sort of leaning towards them going through. But Atletico Madrid have proven over the last couple of years that if you write them off in the Champions League, they can cause you massive problems. So it's going to be a very, very interesting one. And then the final game, Benfica Ajax. Ajax have been on fire.
Ajax have started well, haven't they?
Yes.
So, but Ajax. Who was it? Ajax.
I can't remember. Ajax and I can't remember who. Benfica.
Benfica, yeah. Yeah, that's a 50-50 on that. But you just shade it with Ajax, I think. They're doing well. They're flying in the top in their league. I don't know where Benfica are in their league, but I know Ajax have started. They're doing really well.
And then staying on the subject of kind of draws, we got the Nations League draw this afternoon. And finally, mate, in an international qualifying tournament, whatever you want to call it, England have got a tough group for the first time in about 50 years. So I don't know if you've seen the groups, but England have got a group of death, as it were. Hungary, England, Germany and Italy. that is a group, mate, isn't it?
But
Oof.
yeah, I would say that's good for England because now they've got to perform. These rubber matches, Albania, who else was it? Fair
Waste of
Island,
time.
San Marino. You're in a no-win situation there. You win 10-0, you should win 10-0. You win 3-0, why don't you score 10? So and you want to be playing in these big games. Germany, Italy, even Hungary. Obviously not got the pedigree of Germany and Italy, but nothing to be afraid of England's firepower and what they have. So yeah, it's good to see though they haven't got
the usual.
The old Andorras.
It's just refreshing, mate, to see something different.
Belarus or Lithuania.
100%. Wales got really. I think. See, they're calling the England group.
Wales got?
So England, they're saying England is the group of death with Germany and Italy. I think that's fair, but in my opinion, Wales's group is just as hard, if not the same. So Wales's group is Wales, Poland, Holland, and Belgium. That's worse for me because I think Poland are probably better than Hungary.
See, Italy and Germany for me, even though Italy won it, they've not done really well in the qualifications to get to the World Cup. So yes, they've won the Euros, but they haven't had a great campaign. So it's difficult. That Belgium, a real quality. We've already seen that because we've played them, and then Holland. You're just not going to get no change out of Van Dijk. You just got no chance. So yeah, that's you do well to come third there.
100%, mate. It's really going to be problematic, mate. I gotta say.
But as a Welsh player, that's you want to play in teams. You want to test yourself, especially when you come into Wales. So
mate. And none of those teams will fancy coming to play for Wales.
No, and we've got a good record really against Belgium in recent history. Even though the quality of them, in the cup competitions we beat them in the quarterfinals. So we got a good result against them a couple of weeks ago, which was a draw, which we needed. So yeah, it's nothing. It's a daunting task, but one that you'd welcome.
Yeah, you've got to play the best teams, mate. If you're going to win tournaments and win and improve, you've got to play the best. Quick thing, Craig, you put up a couple of comments earlier about there was one about COVID and there was one about the EFL games being called off. I can't access it now because I had to restart my computer. But if you can put those comments back up, mate, I wanted to discuss them. I can now see the comments as well, so I can kind of see what people are saying. Wales's group. So Reece says that the COVID cases are rampant in Africa at the moment as well. So it depends if those players come back fit, uninjured, COVID-free. Obviously, COVID is a bit of a hot topic in the Premier League this week and the Football League as well because so many games called off. I wonder.
It's all over the world as well. You see it, and I'm like I told you before, I'm a big NFL fan, and it's rampant over there as well. Maybe it's to do with the change of climate and the winter. There's a lot of people with colds as well. So
it's common sense, isn't it, that it would get worse this time of year, like coming into the winter, change of temperature, all that stuff. Like I assumed it was going to get worse during this period, but like. I think there's so many. There's 10 top flight fixed. 5 out of the 10 Premier League games have been postponed. I think there's been a few Championship games called off as well. They've got to do it. Like you look at the United.
I think common sense has got to prevail here. Once
some
the clubs that it's rampant in the clubs, then you just shut them down and sort it out. The ones that there's not really many cases, just carry on. It's just like a bad weather, or you can't just shut it down and for 2 or 3 weeks.
So
especially now, just before Christmas, it'd be just absolute chaos. So, Yeah, it's a
United
strange
had,
one. Will they shut it down for Christmas and have no fans? I'm leaning towards that they might go down that route. I don't know.
at the end of the day, look, we all want fans to be in the ground and stuff. I would rather they stop fans going over Christmas so that we can still have a Christmas football calendar than stop football altogether over Christmas.
I just think that, you know, they all would have been, all would have the team meetings and said, you know, it's back to where we were 2 years ago or a year ago. You need to be careful, watch where you're socialising, all that kind of stuff, because, you know, it's.
So I saw a lot of people saying they were a bit frustrated. The Premier League seems to be very reactive rather than proactive in the way they deal with it. In the last couple of weeks, it seemed like they were dealing with the outbreaks and stuff rather than trying to, like you say, telling clubs and players to be careful again. It was like, oh, go on as normal, everything's back to normal. And then all of a sudden, United had 35 cases within the club, which is a massive amount. Obviously, that affected Crystal Palace because they played them. What did you make of Brighton? So Brighton asked for their game to be called off yesterday or this week, and they were told no. And then they went on to lose 1-0 against Wolves on Wednesday night. Got a bit of sympathy for them. They didn't have as many cases as United, but they did have a lot of their influential players out. So you had Neil Mapai, Pascal Gross, as well as a few others. So I do feel sorry for them.
It's just unfortunate. You just, like I say, your players have got to take responsibility and be more careful. You know, it's about, so you got to take precaution. You know, it's your job at the end of the day. If you get it, you know, you're missing 10 days, 2 weeks.
Well, I think the rule at the moment in the UK for all that Omicron thing is if you come into contact with someone with Omicron, even if you get a positive test or whatever, even if you get a negative test, you've still got to isolate because it cannot show up for 5 days or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's roughly what it is, which is, you know, but how many people are going to stick to that if they get a negative test? That's the problem, isn't it? It's how much are people sticking to it? Are they being careful? Are they mixing as normal because everything kind of opened back up? Are the players now taking it seriously, or are they sort of, you know, oh well, everything's back open, so we can do what we want, go where we want? I'm not 100% sure. So Donna says, no, don't stop fans. If the players are fit, we should go, even if everyone takes a lateral flow test and COVID passports don't work. See, the problem is, if the government gets involved, they will say, stop football for 2 weeks, say, over Christmas to reduce the spread, etc., etc. Whereas,
well, they're having the parties and stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's what they will say. So to me, I could understand if the Premier League said, right, just for the Christmas period, because everyone's going to be mixing and stuff like that, we're going to say no, you know, reduced fans or no fans, and then we'll open it back up afterwards. Just saying, not saying it's what I would do, just saying I could see them doing it. So Craig says 31% of Premier League players and 25% of the EFL players have refused vaccines. Should they still get full pay if they catch COVID? If they got injured, not looking after themselves, then the players often get fined. So if a player gets injured while he's on the piss, he might get fined. So I think what Craig's saying, if you've refused the vaccine as a footballer, should you then be in the same boat? I don't.
Yeah, it's tricky, mate. It's tricky. You know, you go down to contracts. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
and we don't live in China where we dictate to do things we don't want to do. So,
100%, mate. And for me, this is probably going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons for some people. I think that even the discussion which was kind of floated last week in the media about rules forcing people to be vaccinated, is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my life. Because
it's like
you're going to force people to inject stuff into the system
like
that they don't want.
all the Tory MPs are crack dealers. Get your booster. Get it. Go on, get it done. Get your booster. Get on. Get out and get your booster. Like, come on, get out.
Get your booster.
Like,
Get your
what?
booster. 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, it's just.
You got to
so
give
if you get the
people a
booster,
choice.
it'll be all right, and we'll be out of get it. No, you can still get it. What? Oh, you can still pass. Oh, right. All right, I'll still get it anyway. Yeah. No.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It's like, it's stupid. It's frustrating and it's upsetting. And from a purely selfish point of view, I just want to be able to keep going and living my life, and I want to be able to watch football and sport and all these things. And then you've got to, but there's no hiding from the fact that you could see the government they're getting ready to lock things down, and one of the first things they're going to look at is football. Unfortunately,
to get me golf
they're
rounds
itching
in.
to do it. Oh, mate, Mark Drakeford is literally, who's like the Welsh minister or whatever. He is like, you can tell he's like itching to do another lockdown. He can't wait. Like, it's like
I'm supposed
just
to go down
waiting.
there for like after Boxing Day as well, probably, but I have to wait and see what happens.
God, I mean, honestly, it's I feel for people. I do. Like, I know a few people last year who ended up like being on their own at Christmas, and like it's heartbreaking, mate. Heartbreaking stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I find it very frustrating.
Yeah,
Back to the football, mate.
sad,
Anyway, it is very. I feel sorry for Brighton, because Brighton don't have the same. One, they don't have the same depth in their squad as a United or a Liverpool or whoever. So if they get a couple of their big players out with injury or COVID, they haven't got the players to bring in off the bench, off the squad, to replace them.
Newcastle United have won the up at Liverpool.
Newcastle United, mate, is going to be in the Champions League spaces by the end of the season. Telling you. When they sign Messi and Mbappe in January.
You've been drinking?
Yeah, heavily. There's nothing else to do. No, I think Newcastle by this time next year will do quite well.
I don't know. I disagree. I think it'll take at least.
You think it'll take longer?
At least 2 years to get at
Plenty
that
of
level.
time, mate. And I don't think Eddie Howe will be there long. I think he'll be gone by January next year. This time next year, he'll be gone.
Yes, they're impatient, but you've got to have stability. You can't be like manager out. No one will take the job, mate.
Nah, they'll do what Chelsea do, mate. They'll be fine, and then as soon as they start losing, they'll just be.
No, but Chelsea are at a level where especially you're living in London as well. Newcastle, it's a nice part of the world, but it's not London.
Yeah. So Craig just put another comment on and said he wanted to clarify. He's not saying that they thinks that players should be fined. He was just bringing it up as a topic in terms of like if you get injured while you're on the pitch, you get fined. Could you see football clubs having a problem with players not being vaccinated if they then go and get COVID? But it's such a I would imagine even fining players.
You can argue. Wait a minute, but Billy here has been vaccinated and boosted, and he's
got it.
So,
but then isn't the argument for them? Then they're going to say, well, he's doing everything he can to not get it, but you're not. But then it's like, I think it's such a.
How can you determine who's doing what and doing? As long as everyone's the same people, one vaccinated and one's not, but they're both playing by the same rules. But you can still,
Yeah, I think
it's weird how people can have no symptoms and just walk around, and that's the scary thing.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that was the thing that someone was telling me about this Omicron the other day. Was like that's why if you come into contact with someone who's got it, even if you haven't got a positive test, you still got to isolate because you could walk around for 5 days thinking you've got a negative test, but then still have it and be giving it to people and not realise until you've already spread it far and wide. Like, so I don't know. It's a difficult one. And like Craig said, Jay Bothroyd, like Jay took a load of abuse from Cardiff fans because he wouldn't have an injection before the FA Cup final to play. And I can see both sides of that. And when we spoke to Jay on the shows before, he kind of explained it a little bit. At the end of the day, it's a personal choice, mate, isn't it? It's same as anything. Like, you can't force people.
You can't force people to do what they don't want to do.
No, it's like this.
Like I say, we don't. It's not China.
Yeah, someone said something just now. I think it was Claire said you can't wait, like living in China.
Sure.
I think she left a comma out, and she was saying like it'll soon be like China. But I just thought it was funny because it seemed like she was
miserable.
Yeah. Not allowed to, no internet. Oh, they have got internet, haven't they? But it's like
this is where it's scary, because this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to do everything on a passport. Everything will be digital. You can't do anything without showing this passport. All on a database that they can see what you're doing, what you're paying, all in one nice little box.
If only there was a time in history where you actually be demanded that you could like have papers to go places, where we could look back on history and remember how horrific it was.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
People are just getting
carried away with it, mate.
What is going on?
The thing which right,
whatever. I don't want to news anymore.
Yeah, I stopped as well. I don't want to turn it into like a politics thing, but like the thing which I find kind of ironically amusing now is like, if some of the stuff which they're bringing up was floated 3 years ago, people would have gone ballistic. They'd have been like, no, you can never do that. You can't do that. You can't treat people like that. And then now, because of the way the government has dealt with it and acted, it's like people are begging for a lockdown and begging for people to be forced to be vaccinated and stuff, as like they want it to happen. And it's like, come on, like, just take a step back and just be realistic.
Yeah.
But then also, mate,
we'll get through it.
The other side of the coin is, if you've got a phone, most people have got a smartphone, most people got an iPhone or an Android or whatever. If you've got a phone and you are on social media, everything you do is tracked anyway. Your conversations are recorded. They listen to you talking to your mates or whatever, and do ads and stuff like that. So I mean, people enter all those online quizzes and whatever. Like, you get that anyway. So there's that side of it as well. But I don't know. It's all a mess.
So I'm just watching
the news.
No, Liverpool just scored, but it's like there's two the ball's going to come in, and there's like two players of Newcastle have gone to edit and like obviously been hurt, and two of them have gone down the 6-yard box. Liverpool carried on playing, recycled the ball, whipped it in, and scored from it.
Well, they didn't stop the play.
No.
No, see, that's from what you've said, that sounds like poor.
Yeah,
will they bring it back? Will they bring it back?
It's just unfortunate, but they're going to whinge and saying that they should have stopped it. A bit like the De Gea one. Do you know the De Gea one where he's turned round and?
But with the De Gea one, that was not a head injury. Was this one a head injury?
It looked like a head injury. Yeah.
See, they're supposed to. I thought it was supposed to be stopped straight away if it was a head injury. Whereas obviously with De Gea's, it wasn't, was it?
It's never good when you see Scouser refereeing at Anfield, is it?
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Well, he's not Scouse. He's a Tranmere fan, Mike Dean, isn't he?
Tranmere is by Liverpool, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Liverpool. Yeah, it's in Liverpool. Yeah.
Geography, superb, on point again.
Yeah.
Knew exactly where Tranmere was. Superb, mate.
Actually, the Wirral.
So the Wirral, that is the place where I think that's where, isn't that the part of like Merseyside where the Scousers don't like the people from the Wirral? Yeah. Don't they call them wolves or something like that? See, mate, my knowledge is second to none. I didn't realise Gareth Bale had tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, I seen that today. 4 of them have tested positive. He's one of them, isn't he?
Well, it's everywhere, mate. And I think that's the thing is, like, realistically, everyone's going to get it at some point. Like, I'm amazed. Like, nearly most people who I know have had it now, or like someone close to them has had it. So it's like, it just feels like eventually you're going to get it. Like, I've been ridiculously careful, so I haven't had it yet. But yeah, is what it is, I suppose. Right, let's. I want to have a little look forward towards the few fixtures which are still on this weekend. There is not many. Let's have a look. So Aston Villa, Burnley, and Leeds, Arsenal is the only Premier League games on Saturday. There's a couple on the Sunday. Tottenham Liverpool is an interesting one, mate. Do you think Conte can go and get a result against Liverpool at White Hart Lane? Not White Hart Lane now, is it? What's their new ground called?
What, Tottenham's?
Yeah.
White Hart Lane, isn't it?
Is it still White Hart Lane, is it?
It's the same place, isn't it? It's just next door.
Craig says...
thought your geography was good.
Yeah, well, there you go. Craig just said...
Like Craig just said, your geography is rubbish. You can't even know around your own city. Come on.
I know. You got the comments up now, have you? So you can see it as well. That's what I was just about to refer to. Yeah, I couldn't find my way around Cardiff Bay. Look, mate, my geography is special, is what we'll say. So Conte is an interesting one because as we discussed when before he went to Tottenham, I know he's a good manager, but there's just something about him. I just don't think he's top level. I don't know why. There's just something. But then when you look at what he's won and how he's done it and the teams he's done it, what the state of the teams were when he came in and when he left, he's always pretty much come in when they're struggling, and when he's left, they're in a better position having won trophies. So maybe it's me who's wrong, but I will be fascinated to see what's what with Tottenham. I did see that Dele Alli has been linked with a move away from Spurs. I think it's the right time for him to go. I got to be honest. He needs to inject a bit of life into his career again.
Yeah, just needs a fresh start. And he's riding out 3 or 4 years ago, but endorsements.
He was linked with PSG, mate, not long ago, like a couple of years back.
Yeah, Real Madrid. I messaged my mate. What happened to that Dele Alli who should be going to Madrid and all that? So that's where the conversation we're having, or he was having. But yeah, he's just obviously there's something wrong because all these top managers don't want to play him. So it's obviously a work ethic because the quality's there. We've seen that. But he's just got to get back to work and knuckle down because there's a good player in there. But no one's going to see it if he's sat on the bench. Dreadlocks look good though. They
do, yeah. I gotta say, he's been linked with Newcastle, and I think that's a great move for him. He can be like a big fish in a big pond, but at a lower level.
I think someone of Dele Alli, if he's smart, he'll probably go on loan to the end of the season. Test the water, see what it's like, see what's happening.
Yeah, I could see that because obviously it's a different area to live in.
Just get some minutes. There's World Cups around the corner. We've seen it last year with Jesse Lingard. Goes to West Ham, plays well, and gets picked for England again. So all these players have England in their eye line for the World Cup as well.
You think there's any way Dele Alli could make the England squad for the World Cup?
Yes.
You really? Well.
If he come into Newcastle now and end of the season with 8-10 goals. He's Gareth Southgate's got history with him. He knows him 100%.
Liverpool 2-1 up. Mohamed Salah scored.
Mohamed Salah.
Mate, I just don't see Dele Alli in the England squad now. I think unless he goes to a big club and does well. I do think I
No,
wouldn't
he
be surprised.
may not play, but as a squad player, he's a goal scoring
Yeah,
midfielder.
yeah, possibly.
He's
I think.
him and Jesse Lingard are very, very similar.
Yeah. I give you that. Is there any way Pochettino takes a punt on him, having been the manager who got the best out of him, knows him well?
Possibly that'd be good. That'd be a great move for him. But will he play? He wants to go
Well,
somewhere.
that
He's
was what
going
I
to
was going
play.
to ask. Like,
He's not guaranteed to play there with the quality they've got. So again, he's got to go there, knuckle down, and work. Pretty sure he wants to go somewhere knowing that he's going to play week in, week out.
yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? He's got to play week in, week out. Is he gonna? If he went there on loan, even would
He's
he
not
play
guaranteed
ahead
to
of
play. He's not up to match
Ronaldo?
fitness. It's going to take him 2 or 3 weeks. Where if he goes to a team like Newcastle, he'll get his match fitness with the games.
Yeah,
They'll play him.
like, would you pick Dele Alli over Wijnaldum, Di Maria, Verratti, Ander Herrera, Pereira, Rafinha, Draxler?
That's what I mean. It's
He's never getting a game, is he?
He's not going to play there. He's not going to play every week anyway. So
No,
he's not going
and
there.
not unless Pochettino is actually his dad or something.
Yeah, he's not going there.
Because that ain't
Yeah, he's not
happening.
going
He ain't playing there. But yeah, interesting stuff. I do hope we get to see the. But I did when he was playing for Pochettino. I thought he was looking. Sometimes he looked such a fantastic player, and I loved the story of how he went from MK Dons to he got his big move. He did things the right way. He got MK Dons money. So to kind of, if his career like fizzles out, it'll be a bit disappointing. But I guess we'll see. So Saturday, Villa and Burnley. We discussed this in the Super Six predictions. Like, how do you see that going? Do you think Stevie Gerrard's doing a good job at the moment?
He's doing a very good job. Apart from the Liverpool game, even though they put up a good account on themselves there, yeah, it's no shame coming away from Anfield 1-0 defeat. So, yeah, I said it before. You can see the way he talks, the way he acts, the way he talks to his players, about his players. He's a really good coach, and what I see of anyway, a really good manager. And the way he expresses himself, it's just something that I like.
Yeah, you're right. Something about the way he talks about the game is tactically. I think he's been pretty good. I was interested in the Liverpool game just to see how he'd set up, and thought he'd go like all out defense, but he pretty much kept the similar shape to what he'd been playing, which I think, and it worked for him. Like, they didn't get overrun, they didn't get annihilated, so I think that was kind of interesting. I think Villa will beat Burnley. I could see that. I think I'd probably go with like a 2-0 or something. And then we got Leeds Arsenal, always fiery. Leeds have been very, very up and down in recent months. And Arsenal seem to be on a bit of a getting themselves together slowly. Where do we see that one
going? Which one was that? What was you saying?
Leeds v Arsenal, mate.
Leeds are struggling at the minute, really, really struggling. So, and Arsenal are in a little green patch. So again, where's that? Is that at Leeds?
Yeah, it's at Leeds. So I'm just looking. Leeds, they score goals, but they concede so many. Like, they conceded 7 against Man City last Tuesday.
The Leeds are funny that you can, you look at it and think, well, they're going to get another battering, but they could easily turn it around. But I think they're on a little bit of a decline, and they need to just stop the rot. But he doesn't change the way he plays, so
no, they've conceded.
It's going to be
12
interesting to see what happens
games
there in the next month or so, and where they go, and if the results keep on happening. When do they press the panic button? Because it's all right playing that way and running about, but there's a consequence to all that running.
Yeah, I like
especially if
Bielsa,
you've got a big
but
squad, you're missing key players, i.e. Calvin Phillips. So yeah, it's difficult. And last year they had a good run. They had a goal scorer in Bamford. He's been injured this year. He hasn't got as many goals. So yeah, they found it a struggle this year, and I think they'll find it a struggle against Arsenal on the weekend as well.
yeah, I do too. They've conceded 12 goals in the last 3 games. Leeds have. They have scored 4, but 12 goals in 3 games is massive.
Yeah, it's too many. It's too many. We've seen that with United in the last few weeks, where you just got to, go back to basics, keep a clean sheet, and work from that. You can't win games if you drop in 3 or 4 or 5 goals every game. You've got to shut the doors and work from there. And if you're keeping clean sheets, you've always got a chance of winning the game. If you're letting 3 or 4 in, yeah, you're not going to do well.
100%, mate. So the last kind of subject I wanted to talk to you about, and then we'll get to some of the questions which are there. Last week, I was hoping to talk to you about this last week on last week's show, but obviously you were ill. I had a bit of a rant about Tim Sherwood. Obviously, you weren't available to hear the rant, but I had a rant about him because he was almost proud of the fact that he didn't know who Ralph Rangnick was. And I thought that was absolutely ludicrous. I thought it was disgraceful. And I think that he saying things like that, and it's not the first time he said something so stupid, like I think he thinks that it makes him sound clever, but in actual fact, to me, not only does it make him look stupid, but it also brings down the broadcaster that he's working for at that time. Like it brings down the standard of punditry. And I'm fed up of getting in my car and Talk Sport will be on, and there's Darren Bent or Jamie O'Hara or sometimes Simon Jordan, just these so-called pundits who are just saying ridiculous, out of touch, stupid stuff. So I understand that they want interaction on the radio station, but I'd rather there be a decent standard of punditry. Like, I really liked Jamie O'Hara for a while, but lately some of the stuff he's come out with has just been outrageous. Not quite at the level of Tim Sherwood, but there's so many good.
It's just footballers that think that what's the word? They're guaranteed to deserve a job because they've played the game. But you still got to do your research. You've still got to not be arrogant and like I say, do your research. But obviously these people clearly don't, because he's going on about Ralph Rangnick. No one's knocking down his door. He's just told you but fucking Chelsea were knocking on his door 6 months
last
ago.
year.
So yeah, he's just
embarrassing, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, he's an all right player as well. Tim Sherwood, played well at Blackburn, captured him to the Premier League. So even though they fell off a cliff the next year, but yeah, he was an okay player. He was an okay player, Tim Sherwood.
But
he made Alan Shearer's top 11 as well against Micah Richards. We all had a good laugh at that. Robert Lee, Tim Sherwood.
That's madness.
Who was it against? It was against David Silva, Yaya Toure.
Yeah. Unreal. Tim Sherwood.
Yeah. Someone silly though.
Yeah.
Oh, Vieira, Patrick Vieira, that was it. Because he played with him at City at the end of his career.
See, that's unreal, that, isn't it?
And then Alan Shearer, my midfield, Tim Sherwood and Robert Lee and Micah Richards started howling at him. So disrespectful, but it's funny.
But so this you made a tremendous point there, mate, right? Is with Tim Sherwood and it's almost like they believe because they're ex-footballers that they automatically, that makes them a good pundit, and what they say is much more knowledgeable or is more truthful than someone like myself or you or whoever.
People like him, right, don't say what they want to say. They just say, the sound bites, all the cliches. No, say what you feel. Like, no, Danny Mills off there when he was, oh, United is shit. Just sit. You don't have to say the shit on there, but you can,
Word it.
relay that and express it in a different way. But no, because they're scared of the backlash they'll get and the pussies, basically, and the fake. So just be real and just say what you feel and say what you think. But if they don't, like I say, it's all sound bites, cliches. Yeah, do one.
100%.
Soccer
At the end of the day,
I prefer it with Letitia and even Thompson and Charlie
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Yeah, these, Morrison and who's the other kid from who used to play for Tottenham, centre half. Blonde haired lad. Who else? Lee Hendry. Come on.
Well, see, Lee Hendry, I've seen, and this is what frustrates me in some ways, is I've seen Lee Hendry be quite a decent pundit when he was doing some championship stuff a couple of years back. But whenever I've seen him talk about the Premier League, he falls into this different way of talking about it. And it's almost like you say, like, I don't want to say they're told what to say, but they're like, they don't want to upset people. They don't want to rock the apple cart, as it were. So they're
not being real. They're being fake. They're going around the houses. Just no. Oh, I don't want to upset him. I don't want to upset him. Why? It's your job to just say.
They don't want to upset footballers, do they? They don't want to upset
opinions.
Yeah, 100%. And they don't want to upset. They don't want to upset people they used to play football with, or they knew, or they know. And it's like, but that's your job. Your job is to give an opinion and to break down the action, give a technical analysis. You look around all the different TV channels, Amazon, BT, Sky, the foreign channels, if you watch like on Fire Stick or whatever, like the best pundits are the ones who are real, who are themselves. They give honest opinions no matter what. They're the best pundits.
Jamie Carragher is really good. Obviously Gary Neville, even though he could be a tad annoying. Them two really stick out. But there's other. Michael Owen, he's pretty honest, even though he's annoying as well. But yeah, there's.
I think Tim Cahill's pretty good. I've seen him a couple of times recently.
These you don't really see these much, which is a shame because I have enjoyed Tim Cahill when I've seen him. I think he talks well as well. Yeah, I do enjoy Tim Cahill, and he was a good player as well. Yeah,
I just find it very frustrating. And Talk Sport in the last year has become almost unlistenable.
I was literally a stalwart of that channel. I would listen to it every day.
Yeah,
I do not listen to it now, not one bit. It's just full of idiots. It's just idiots. Absolute idiots.
When they first had Ali McCoist is the exception, by the way. On
Ali McCoist in the mornings. I tell a lie. If I'm going to listen to radio in the morning, I will listen to. If Alan Brazil's on, Ali McCoist. If they're not, and that Laura Woods is on, then I won't. But yeah, if they're on, I'll listen to it.
Yeah, I think the Amazon Prime coverage has been very good with Ali McCoist as the commentator. That was a good choice. There's too many pundits on there who are not good, and it's what frustrates me is there's so many good football guys who've come out of the game in the last 5 to 10 years who can speak well, give honest opinions, and are really good. But for some reason,
Paul Scholes is pretty good as well. To be fair,
yeah. But all the guys who are pretty good don't get the jobs. Apart from the Keanes and the Nevilles, but like the guys who have just come out of the game and are looking to push on, they're not getting the jobs. And then the guys who will toe the line and not rock the apple cart, they're the ones who are getting the Talk Sports and the other jobs. And I just find it incredibly frustrating because there's guys out there who could do a good job, a better job. Like Reese says, Alan Shearer is brilliant. He likes that he's able to criticise Newcastle. And I think that's an important aspect of it, is being able to criticise the clubs that you care about or that you support.
You're just being honest. Just be honest. See what it's just like. There's an old saying, Roy Walker, the catchphrase, Say what you see.
Say what you see. Say what you see. Say what you see. It's good, but it's not right. Classic. Right, let's get some questions. Donna said earlier, have you ever played a professional match and not tried for any reason?
No.
Okay. Gaz said, he sent me a DM because he couldn't get onto his YouTube, but he is watching. He said that what is your favourite goal? Oh, no, sorry. What goal of Ryan's did you celebrate the most?
Oh, that's easy. Semi-final at Arsenal. I was on the pitch. Stiff down the steward.
So if you look at the clip, there you are, is it?
At the end of the game, you can see me, yeah. I'm on him, yeah. With cap on, Stone Island jump on. Yeah. And he's got his injured ankle, and his words were, "Get the fuck off me, you knob."
Like it. And Gaz, he also said, he said, which goal did you celebrate the most during your career? So the Arsenal goal. He said, is that also your most memorable moment of you watching him as a United fan and a brother?
No, there's so many. But yeah, that game sticks out. It had everything. I was living in London at the time. We drove down with my boss. My boss was an Arsenal fan.
Made a day of it.
Had sending off, missed penalty the last minute, and then obviously that goal. Yeah, it was a proper game, and by far. Well, I say not by far because I've been to. No, I was at
so many.
I was in Turin, the semi-final Juventus, when Roy Keane got that goal just before half time, and that was frightening. Obviously, the Champions League in Barcelona. All that year was unbelievable, to be honest, in 98, 99, because we seem to always be coming from behind.
That era of United, but that 99 season was just insane. The amount of times
United think about it now. If you look at all the top teams, they've probably got 1, 2 strikers. We had 4 top class strikers.
But what that meant,
obviously, you can play them in partnerships. You obviously York and Cole, and then obviously Sheringham and Solskjaer worked really well as well. But even if you put Sheringham with Cole, that worked well, or York with Solskjaer, that worked well. So yeah, they all played well together. And then you obviously got the midfield. But Scholes, Beckham played in there. Keane, yeah, it just goes on and on. Obviously, you had Stam as well. So yeah, it was Schmeichel, his pomp, even though he should have never left. But yeah, it was. There's so many. Juventus
that
away.
Season, mate,
Juventus
they
away.
come down so many times
and scored 2 goals. There's so many. But that Arsenal one sticks out.
Where did you watch the 99 European Cup final?
What?
Where did you watch the Champions League final that year? The travel year?
Probably Row W C. Don't know. Behind the goal.
Good day.
Wait. Behind the goal. Behind the goal, to the right, up a bit.
How did you feel just before that first goal went in for United?
The first goal.
Did you think that it was coming?
Oh, I can't.
Or were you feeling like it was slipping away?
Yeah, actually, no, we did, because they hit the post, they hit the bar, and we were getting absolutely battered, but we were still hanging in there. And as soon as the first goal goes in, I'm on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We're still celebrating. I'm on the floor. We've got a corner. So you just try to get up. And as you try to get up, and it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah.
Love it, mate. It's quite that game is one of my. I watched that in the pub, and it was just
like there was so many fake, Mankins. There's so many fake tickets going about as well. So no word of a lie, there was guaranteed. There was probably the capacity is probably 90. There was 110, 115,000 in that ground. There was people getting in with fake tickets all over the gaff.
Yeah. But that season, United came from behind so many times. It was unreal. Like you
No,
watch the highlights, like you get like the highlights packages and stuff.
That Inter Milan at San Siro. I remember being there. We went there for 4 days. Did we go for 4 days or 7? No, 4 days. And the Inter Milan, Fat Ronaldo was injured, but he come on at the second half and he was like unbelievable. And yeah, the noise of that San Siro, by far the best ground I've ever been to. It was frightening. It was so noisy when they scored, but yeah, that was a great game as well at Inter Milan at San Siro. The San Siro, Turin, Nou Camp, all in the space of like a month. It was like crazy.
Incredible stuff. Donna, do you dislike any teams, Rhodri?
Do I dislike
She
any
says Swansea
teams?
and Liverpool for her. Is there like a teams which you genuinely hate?
Yeah, England.
You got to say it. Got to love it. Do you like? What about like Liverpool? Like, how do you feel about them?
I don't mind. When I was a kid, to be honest, when I was a kid, I wasn't. Ryan was always a Man United fan. I wasn't really a fan of teams. I was more of a player person. So I was a big John Barnes fan. So I was a big Watford fan. So then when he went to Liverpool, I kind of supported Liverpool because I supported John Barnes.
Kind of followed him over, like.
Yeah.
Nice, like it. So I came across this comment on, I think it was on Facebook. It was just on a video. It was on a video of United's best goals of the last decade, and there was all sorts of different goals. And obviously one of them was Wayne Rooney's overhead kick against Man City, which always makes me laugh when that comes up because people give it, he was an accident, it come off his shin, all the, because people can't give Wayne Rooney credit.
I wish I could score shinners like that.
I know. So this guy put a comment up, and I want to get your opinion on this subject. He says, honestly, Wayne Rooney is arguably the best United player of all time for me, based on his contributions to the club. Goals, assists, passion, grit. Maybe a few more skillful or unmistakably massive for the club, like Keane or Ronaldo, Giggs, Robson, etc. But for me, his overall contribution puts him in the conversation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Would you have him? So would you say one of the greatest players to play for United, or would you say one of the most influential players to play for United?
Say that. What was the first one?
So would you say he's like one of the best to ever play for United, or was he just one of the most influential to ever play for United? Well, would you put him up there with best?
Yeah, one of
and
the
Ryan
best. People are sleeping on Wayne Rooney. Talking about Sergio Aguero. Sergio Aguero couldn't lace Wayne Rooney's boots, and Sergio Aguero is a top striker. Wayne Rooney's got the goal records of Sergio Aguero, but the assists and the work rate and the sacrifices that he would do for his team, playing left midfield, right midfield. He was a centre forward, and people sleep on Wayne Rooney. He was a world class player, for a long time, and his record speaks for itself.
Interesting. Reese says he wonders how many players have got that feeling about a side who they maybe grew up hating. So, for instance, David Cottrell obviously played for Wales, but he was a Cardiff born and bred. He was brought up to hate Swansea, but then spent a big chunk of his career playing for Swansea. Now, I think, for me personally, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't play for Swansea, for instance. But you've seen, players have played for teams they grew up hating.
So if you wanted to be professional football and Swansea offered you a contract, you wouldn't play for them?
I had this conversation with Joe Riley when he did his My Story the other day. I don't think I would, but that's easy for me to say now.
It's a job. Yeah, you're professional.
I agree with what you're saying. You've just got to take your emotions out of it.
Obviously, you won't probably play to your maximum standard if you love the club, but you're still gonna, if you're professional and you
do your job,
and you want to win, it doesn't matter who you play for. Yeah,
no, I do agree with you. It's just like I say, Now I say, oh no, I wouldn't. But like, being realistic, and if you take it all out of it and you look at it, you probably would. Gaz says, top 5 United players of all time, off the top of your head, go for both of us. You can go first, man.
Ronaldo, Bobby Charlton, Wayne Rooney, Ryan, and George Best, Dennis Law. Got to be in there as well.
So many in there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Ronaldo, obviously, Brian, Rooney, and then I would go with Scholes.
Scholes as well. I forgot all about Scholes.
And I want to lean to Roy Keane because I think he was special, but I think Eric Cantona's got to be in there. He changed the whole outlook of the football club when he came in, and when he not just that though, the goals he scored, the influence he had.
He didn't necessarily change it, but
Took him up a level.
he gave him that extra push, I should say.
Yes.
Obviously the players seen how good he was and see how he trained, and obviously learned from that, and took it on. So I don't think he necessarily, but it was just the right person at the right time, and then he just went from strength to strength. Eric Cantona needed a place like Man United to blossom, and he did that, and he was massive.
Very difficult to pick 5 though, isn't it?
It's literally impossible, because I've just said Dennis Law and George Best have got to be in it. And Bobby Charlton.
Brian Robson.
Well, I'd say that they've got to be, but they've got to be in the conversation with Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Ryan, Scholes,
Van Nistelrooy,
Brian Robson, Roy Keane.
What about Andre Kanchelskis?
What about him?
Is he not the greatest? I wrote
no.
I wrote an article.
He was a really good player.
Exceptional right winger.
Very, very, very quick. Great right foot. Good cross of the ball. But if you're asking me, would I have Andre Kanchelskis or David Beckham? Could have David Beckham every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Who's a bigger dickhead? David Beckham or Lee Sharp?
David Beckham is one of the nicest fellas I've ever met.
I know. It's just funny that every time Lee Sharp's name comes up, you kind of...
Oh, Lee Sharp's a bellend. Forget him.
There he is. It's like the stock sentence every time. So, yeah, that's. I think that's going to be a pod there. But as always, guys, appreciate you sending in the questions and the comments and stuff. Apologies, I couldn't access the live chat at the start, but... obviously, that'll all be fixed now. I've worked out what the problem is with my computer, so that won't be an issue going forward. So obviously it's Thursday today because I couldn't do tomorrow. I'm going to have a little.
Tomorrow?
It's my son's 17th birthday.
Oh, nice.
So we're having a little thing, a COVID party, as it were.
Lovely. Musical chairs and all that.
Yeah, that's it, mate. So yeah, it's Christmas coming up.
COVID,
now.
It kills everything. You won't be able to do past the parcel as well with COVID. It just kills everything, doesn't it?
Spoils all the fun, mate, doesn't it? Imagine going to like a teenager's party now, no spin the bottle, no nothing, just all sat like away from each other. It's brutal. So yeah, it's Thursday. Obviously, I think I'm gonna have a chat with Rhodri now, and we'll sort out what we're doing. But I think next Thursday, maybe, or next Wednesday.
Thursday's better. I think Thursday's miles better because Friday I'm always rushing about. Thursday I have nothing on.
So should we officially change it to Thursday? Because Thursday suits me better as well. Sweet. There we go. Decision made. Rhodri Giggs on football is now Thursday, 7:30 instead of Friday, 7:30. You heard it here first. All right, guys. I have had some really exciting conversations today with some guests for live shows, for recorded shows, for in-person shows. 3 different footballers. So two of which are current, players. All three, two of the three have played for Wales. One of them plays for Wales now. So ex-Man United player as well. All good. All coming soon in the summer. In the new year. The content will not stop. But check out. Our next show is now Sunday Fight Show. So join us for that. And then Monday, hopefully Joe Riley's going to join me to talk about his My Story episode. And there we go. Rhodri Giggs, as ever, mate. Absolute pleasure to speak to you, mate.
No, cheers, pals.
Always
Flew that
good
one.
stuff.
An hour and 25.
Flew by, mate. That did, didn't it? Considering like the first 5 minutes or so was my computer being a bit weird. Absolutely flew by, buddy. As always, appreciate your time and all that good stuff. So, are you going to be good for next Thursday? That'll be the
Thursday,
23rd or something. 23rd, isn't it?
Wait a minute, what day is it? Because I always lose the track of things.
It'll be the next Thursday's the day before Christmas Eve.
23rd, right? Right.
Is that okay?
Day before New Christmas Eve, sweet.
So we'll be back next Thursday. I'll be back on Sunday. Join us.
Golfing, but I'll be finished. No night golf here.
Just have to phone you to make sure you don't fall asleep and have a nap, innit? Good and tag, people.